Good morning, Market Snipers. This is Jesse. It's 9 o'clock on the dot. Welcome back. If you're on the live stream, good to have you back. Already got some early birds in the comments. John, Doc, they've already got their requests in. So good to see everyone back. If you're going to be on the replay crew, first thing we're going to do is go through the charts for about 15 to 30 minutes. Sometimes it runs over. And then the second half of the stream, we'll get through chart requests. So if you are a subscriber to the YouTube channel, then you can comment what asset you would like me to chart for you, and I will be happy to do so. If you're on the replay crew, just comment still, and then I go back and take a look at all the comments, and then I'll definitely take a look at it on the next live stream. So good morning, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And, we're going to start off with the NASDAQ. Then we're going to look at Bitcoin. We're going to we'll probably get into some alts. I put out a video last night. Is Bitcoin and crypto breaking out? Is it bouncing, right? Is it bouncing? So all of that. But if you buy that dip, then you better sell that rip, right? So, and then we'll jump into the comments. John, can you chart F? Yep, got all those lined up. Good morning, per 06. Good morning, everybody. So let's jump into it, and then we'll talk about the Bruce Lee quote as well. But I want to jump into some charts first, and then we'll come back to the comments. So keep the comments going, and let's dive right in. So let's make the screen a little bit bigger. All right. So here's the NASDAQ, right? So, like I always like to do is get into the recap, but we've been covering this daily, so we don't need to recap too much. The bearish divergence, higher low, price came down, hit the target, price put in a second lower high, price came back down, hit the second target. And then this is what we were talking about, right? It was starting to look like the NASDAQ was in a lot of the other assets as well, like the Magnificent Seven that we'll cover as well. So it was starting to look like it was finding shorter term support, that we would see some sort of bear flag get put in or a bounce, right? And then some profit taking down here by the shorts, and then looking patiently and waiting patiently for that next short the bounce opportunity on the NASDAQ. Could that be it? Maybe that'll be it at 15,060 on the NASDAQ bounce. It's too early to say. May still take a couple of days to play out. May come up back higher up into the trending dots and beyond. So it's too early to say. But the overall is, if you kind of draw out this trend line like this, right? Let me move this out of the way real quick. So kind of draw it out like that, where, we were talking about, price coming back down like this, and whatever it does over these couple days, right? And then comes back down. This would be that lower high that we're looking for. And, that would be the next short the bounce opportunity for me on the NASDAQ. Obviously, none of this is financial advice, education and entertainment purposes only. Hopefully you have some, you're entertained a little bit as well, where it's not just so boring. try to put some personality into it and not be too boring. So we'll get going with the dad jokes. I'm sure if anyone's got any good dad jokes, put them in the comment section. The wife got me this dad joke button. It's got like 250, and I don't have it memorized, obviously. So, but there's like 250 something dad jokes. And sometimes the jokes aren't funny, but the laugh after the joke, cracks me up every time. So it was a joke to me, saying that I have dad jokes, right? I'm getting older, so I got these older jokes. That's the NASDAQ. Gold. What's happening with gold? Gold futures, right? So since this breakdown and even back below back above where there's a sell signal where price broke down below the trending dots, right? It's just been selling off like crazy. So it's still bearish, but on the daily chart, it's actually ultra bearish. You can see, the candles are cold as ice, right? When the candles are on fire, it's ultra bullish. When the candles are cold as ice, then it's it's ultra bearish, right? So if you look at the weekly chart, huge move down, still have that pending sell signal. The candle closes today for the weekly chart. So the pending sell signal is going to turn into a sell signal. And, it doesn't mean it's going to come down, hit target 2 immediately, or it goes straight down to target 3 and or the 200-week moving average. Obviously it could come back down like this, right? Kind of build out another lower high. It just takes time to play out. As you can see, it's like price came down, lower high, and then it can just continue to do that, right? So obviously it could just go straight down, right? But this tends to be the pattern now, and it just seems like it's breaking down, it's going through this correction, it's consolidating, and then maybe we're just waiting for, went back to the cursor. So maybe just kind of waiting for that next consolidation, right? So that next consolidation where then it breaks out to the upside. So if you're not shorting gold futures, then maybe you're waiting for lower targets to be hit, waiting for price to consolidate. And let's see, this target was accidentally moved. It was up here somewhere. I'll have to redo it. But you'd be waiting for the next buy the dip scenario if you're not shorting gold futures, right? So waiting for, the next target to be hit or find support at the next target below, which happens to be near the 200-week moving average. Doesn't mean price can't go lower and continue to come all the way back down further, right? You can kind of see where there's this huge move back in like 2019 up, right? And then you've got, let's take a look here. Doesn't mean it couldn't come back to lower prices, right? It is possible. It doesn't mean, so we just got to take it level by level. Is it going to consolidate and then have a breakout to the upside, or will it continue to correct and come back down to, say around 1500 from there? Good morning. Good morning, Oswaldo. Welcome back. Welcome back, Per06. John, Doc. Everyone's been on the live stream. Welcome back. All right, so that's gold. We'll look just a quick glance at the 10-year yield. We've been covering this daily, so we don't need to continue to cover it every waking minute, but I do like to keep an eye on it. So, the weekly chart is ultra bullish and the week closes today. So most likely the week is going to close ultra bullish. Could continue to be that way, could continue to trend upwards. Also, it could go sideways or consolidate a little bit for a few weeks before, come back, retest the line and come all the way back up here. Good morning, Emmanuel. We'll get some pullback on some alts, for example, Sol, more important sport. Yeah, we'll take a look at the crypto assets. Jay James, great updates, Jesse. Thanks, Jay James. Good morning. Welcome back. So that's a 10-year yield. So it's ultra bullish right now. Most likely the weekly chart is going to close that way. DXY still bullish on the weekly chart. The week closes today, right? So most likely it's going to close bullish. The trending dots are starting to, I kind of drew out this phantom trend line because there's no real second touch point as of yet. You could probably draw it here, but eventually it'll come back to these trending dots. And so I drew out the phantom trend line based off of where the trending dots are starting to curl back up. So at some point it may retest that before hitting the higher targets. You can see I haven't changed the target from orange to green yet. It got very, very close, but it has not pierced the target yet. So it's still only at target 2. So we'll see if there's some consolidation before the next move up. VIX, the wild animal, right? So flipped bullish last week. The trending dots also broke out of the downward trend line, right? And so that's what we're watching. And we talked about this, right? We talked about the VIX is a wild animal. So, it could remain bullish, but while it's bullish, it could spike up. We literally, if you go look back on the live streams, it literally, we're talking about this just because I've seen it over and over again, how it plays out. And yeah, came up, spiked up, hit 2 targets, and came quickly back, right? So quickly back, and then could come all the way back down here, put in a higher low, and then spike all the way back up again. So that's the VIX. It's a wild animal. G-Rod, good morning, snipers. Jay James, thanks, Jay James. G-Rod, good morning, snipers. Good morning, G-Rod. This is the builder, brother. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't put that together. So, G-Rod, welcome back. The builder in the Discord. That's his name in the Discord. The builder, very active in there. So good to see you. Good to see you here, G-Rod. Awesome. Okay, so we'll keep going, and we'll keep an eye on the comments for the good mornings. But any questions and comments, we'll circle back in the second half of the live stream. I want to keep this going. As you can see, the early birds get the worm. John asked for Ford. He was the first one in the comment. Doc. You can see I added the US 20-year yield and BDRY from John as well. He's going to get 2 this morning. So 2 requests from John being the first one. Awesome. All right. So you can see that the crypto assets, I put out that video last night. So we'll probably just take a quick glance at those. But I did a 20-minute video on the Bitcoin bounce and the potential breakouts of these crypto assets and their bounce as well, right? So if you want to take a little bit deeper dive on that one, I forgot to put the chart to a bigger screen for the first 9 minutes, but you can still see it. I looked at it on the phone. I looked at it on the big screen, all that stuff. You can still see it. And then the second half, the last 10 minutes, I did have it on the larger screen, and I talked about it a lot. All the charts start looking very similar, so you can see it from there too. So still worth watching it from zero, from the very beginning to the end on that one, I think personally. So that's 20 minutes on the crypto. So we'll just take a quick glance there. But first, let's jump over to the Magnificent Seven. Let's keep going here. You can see that they're all having some bounces, right? Expect bounces along the way, right? So expect bounces along the way. Let's look at NVIDIA. Daily chart. Okay, so it's doing what we thought it would do, right? What we talked about. So after the bearish divergence and after a sell-off and after price coming back to retest this area, right? At some point, we're looking for a lower high to be put in, right? Because that is going to be the higher probability. So whether it's here or wherever it is, we're looking for those higher lows. We're looking for those short the bounce opportunities. So we even drew it out on RSI. So that's what we're kind of watching now is, there was some profit taking, very similar to the NASDAQ, right? Now price is still bouncing, and we're looking for that lower high to be put in, and then the breakdown back below this trend line at some point, and then back down below this longer term trend line before price comes back down and potentially hits this lower target. fills this massive 20% gap. So if we zoom out on the weekly chart here, you can see I have this massive 20% gap that still hasn't been filled. So you've got the bearish divergence on the weekly chart, you've got the lower high, and then this is just kind of letting the MAs, the moving averages, catch up. It's kind of letting the EMA on the RSI catch up, letting the trending dots, which is, prices back below the trending dots, but kind of letting the trending dots catch up. May take some time for it to play out, maybe a couple of weeks, and then it starts to trend down, right? So just as like price got pretty far extended away from the trending dots on the upside, it can get extended back down, but eventually price comes back to the moving averages, comes back to the trending dots. RSI eventually comes back to the EMA on the RSI. So that's what we're watching. And just because there's a breakdown doesn't mean there won't be bounces along the way. So that's NVIDIA on the daily chart. Let's take a look at Meta. Same thing. Nothing really to report. Waiting for that potential lower high. So still waiting on that. Kind of talked about this, bouncing down, kind of maybe rolls over into a lower high, comes back down, even puts in another lower high, and all while, hitting more targets, right? Hitting more targets to the downside. I'll move these over here, right? Timing wise, you can kind of see may take some time to play out. So kind of move those over. These targets already been hit. So at some point, the targets can be hit again. So just kind of watching on Meta daily chart, right? So you've got that on the daily chart, you've got the bearish divergence come all the way down, hit target 2 here, right? Bounces. This looks like a lower high, comes back down, big wick down, and then will this be putting in another lower high here and then start to roll back over? So maybe we'll have to move this target back over here like that. So we'll see, because it could start rolling back over, come down, hit it. Similar to like NVIDIA, goes below the trend line, comes back up, puts in that lower high, and then rolls back over. So it's a lot of speculation, but that's what we do. We speculate a lot, right? We speculate. That's what we do. All right. Is everyone hitting the like button? We know we're hitting the subscribe button, but are we hitting the like button? Aaron, I signed up 3 days for Discord and still have not received an invite. Aaron, on the Discord, if you signed up for it, when you there's a payment receipt on the screen, and so there's a link on that immediately, right? So if you didn't see it, no problem. Send me an email or send me a direct message on even Twitter if you want, or the X app. But yeah, the moment you sign up, there's a immediate link to the Discord, and then we get you the indicator after that. So let me know. But yeah, it shouldn't take 3 days, and it's immediate. So yeah, we want to get that figured out immediately for you, Aaron. So apologize for any confusion there, but yeah, as soon as you sign up, there's an immediate link page. That's the way I have it set up. So, but yeah, just message me. We'll take care of it same day. So, so just want to make sure that DJR78, Jesse, my man, breaking it down as always. DJR78, thank you. Trying to keep all the name. I think I have an idea who you are, but are you a Discord member or or on the X app? Trying to keep everyone's name straight. I'm not going to remember everyone's different names because y'all have there for Colson. I did that Southern accent for you. I don't have a Southern accent, but y'all have a different X app name, Twitter name, YouTube name, Discord name. Yes, I remember. Okay, I think I know who you are. Pretty sure. Longtime Discord member, more than a year. Recorded coaching, all that stuff. So the 78, I think I got it. I think I got who you are. because of the 78. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Amazon, 1 year plus. Yep. I knew it. Okay. I'll try to remember. Okay. Had that bearish divergence. First comment. John, good morning. I left the first comment last night. How come it's not showing up? Oh, I don't know, John. Well, re-comment, and I'll take your word for it that you were the first one, and we'll take a look at it today. So don't worry, John. I got you. Just let me know what you did comment. I don't know why it's not showing up, but I'll take your word that you were the first, and then you kicked John out of the first stop, the first spot. So we're going to take John's word that he beat John as the early bird gets the worm last night. So awesome. Just re-comment the asset you want me to chart, and we'll go from there. So again, Amazon had that bearish divergence, broke down. Target 1 was hit. Rick's, okay, real quick. Rick's Money Makers, Helton, good to be with you, Market Snipers, and of course, Jesse. Welcome back, Rick. Appreciate you coming back. Always big supporter on the X app as well. Okay, so bearish divergence on Amazon. We've covered this. Target 1 almost hit target 2. Looks like we're getting a bounce, maybe back up in the trend lines. Maybe it fills this gap. We talked about this yesterday. Still waiting for it. So it could play out that way where, from here, right, kind of comes back up, puts in that lower high, which is that higher probability that we're going to go see lower targets from there. That's Amazon. Weekly chart hasn't even flipped bearish yet. So it seems like these lower targets will be hit longer term. Nav, good morning. Good morning, Nav. All right. Microsoft, we're going to keep flowing here. I want to get through the Magnificent Seven. I want to take a quick glance at the crypto assets. So we'll try to get through this to 9:30, and then we'll definitely dive in to all the comments and stuff like that. So we've got Microsoft hasn't even flipped bearish yet on the weekly chart, and but had that lower high put in, right? And looks like the lower low. So now we're going to kind of see, we'll continue to put lower highs and lower lows in on Microsoft. Let's drop down to the daily chart. Daily chart, you had the bearish divergence. Price hit target 1, back tested the upward long-term trend line. Looks like it put in that lower high, came back down to target 1, and could be putting in some sort of a bear flag, right? That we kind of talked about. Put in another lower high. So we put that like something like that. Maybe puts in another lower high and then rolls back over on Microsoft. So kind of watching like this. Maybe it comes back down like that. So that's what I'm kind of expecting on a lot of these assets, especially for the Magnificent Seven. They're all looking very similar to me. So we're keeping an eye on it. Tesla has bounced back into the trending dots. So again, is it putting in some sort of a bear flag, another lower high, and then see price kind of reverse back down? So come down, put it in some sort of bear flag, and then you kind of see price come back down, retesting this target area, and then possibly this target, the 200-week moving average, and so on and so on. Do have an older gap back down here at 146. It's not a huge gap, but it's on the chart for a reason. It is, almost 6% gap. So definitely on the chart because it's a 6% gap, good for awareness. Doesn't mean that Tesla is not a wild animal, comes all the way back up at some point, fills that gap, and then comes back down. It's always a possibility. I think it's less likely. I think it's a higher probability that it's putting in like this lower high down here and then rolls back over. So we'll see on Tesla. That's what we're kind of watching. Weekly chart is not bearish as of yet, but it already has put in that lower high. So we'll see if, it keeps putting in these lower highs and lower lows and comes back, retests down here. So that's Tesla. Let's keep going. Reiki. Hey, Jesse. Good morning, Reiki, aka Dicer Girl. See, starting to remember if everyone's coming back, definitely remembering Apple still bearish on the weekly chart, right? Still trending downward. Had that bearish divergence, broke down, put in that lower high, partially filled the gap, broke back down. So nothing has really changed there. We're getting bounces along the way. That's what we expect, right? So broke down here on the daily chart. You got the bearish divergence, broke all the way back down. Price is getting oversold, aka sometimes when the magic happens, just as when price gets overbought, sometimes when the magic happens. Rallied all the way back up here, putting that lower high. And we actually drew this out back here. We drew out that we could see price come all the way back up here, possibly even fill the gap, break back down, come up, put in a lower high at some point, put in a lower high, and then come back down to target 2. Played out almost exactly as we kind of drew it up. It doesn't always play out that closely, but Apple pretty much did play out exactly the way we drew it up on the live streams. If you don't believe me, go back to the live streams. They're recorded. You can see it in real time over the last couple of weeks that we were talking about it, and it's played out that way. So Google, the only asset in the Magnificent Seven that it currently is not in the green. Let's take a look. Wow, it's a lot of drawing on there. So the recap had the bearish divergence on the live stream. We were talking about it breaking down, broke down, came back up, and then had that big sell off here, the sell signal. Let's kind of take this off just for our own, so we can see it a little bit better on the charts, right? And we talked about come back in, possibly filling this gap, right? After finding support here, there's some profit taking at the first key target area, just pierced it barely. Then it was looking like it was starting to flip around in the lower time frames. Bounces, could be putting in like this bear flag, fill this gap and put in this lower high, right? So price broke down, comes back up, maybe in a bear flag, and then kind of rolls back over after that, right? So we'll see. Obviously, it could go much higher. So we'll just kind of wait and see. But the plan of attack is like, if you were looking to short, is like you're waiting for it to come up, kind of stall out, and then it starts breaking back down from there. And that would be your higher probability short. We've talked about it a lot. That might have been it. That was the wick was all the way up to 135. It's kind of breaking down right now. So if you look like on a lower time frame on Google, right? So maybe this was the lower high and it's breaking back down. Too early to say. Could come back down, come all the way back up. Still too early to say. But on the 4-hour, looks like it was already filled, right? Looks like the gap was filled on the 4-hour chart, and that might be it. It might start to roll over there as a pretty big bearish 4-hour candle. You got the wick, and if it ends up down here, we'll see, because it could still stay on this upward trend line like that, kind of find support and still build its out. Kind of too early to say for me on Google, but it is the only one that is negative right now. Let's jump back over to crypto assets. We talked about this for 20 minutes on, let's get back on the daily chart, right? Talked about this on the video that was put out last night. Still watching it. So we'll take the deeper dive. This will all make more sense on the 20-minute video. So Ethereum had the breakout buy signal, target 1 so far. Solana breakout buy signal. Ooh, price has already pierced target 2. All right, there we go. Let's check it off. Let's check off the box. Another sniper target. Boom. There we go. Let's flip this to yellow. Now we're really getting the technical analysis going. We're putting on check marks on the box. All right, let's keep going. Cardano. Okay, we were talking about this yesterday, last night. Check out the video. Again, this will make more sense. We're talking about it here. It closed above the trending line. We're talking about we could see a pending buy signal. Now we're seeing a pending buy signal. Then we could see, after the candle closes, could see a buy signal and come up and hit some of these targets. We've got this is Matic. We're talking about there's a candle close above, right? Again, very similar patterns playing out. Candle close above. There's no pending buy signal on Matic yet. Could we see Matic pending buy signal in the near future? I think so. So is Matic lagging time-wise? Is there still an opportunity there? Definitely check out that video because if I eyeball the sniper target's probably going to be something like that, right? Just by eyeballing it, looking at it more and more, like that, right? Maybe come back up, retest the 200-week moving average. That's Matic. But as of right now, there's no pending buy signal yet on Matic, but could be in the near future. Same with DOT. Is DOT lagging time-wise, right? We talked about this in the video last night. Candle closed back above the trending dots, right? On the trending dots, on DOT. And there's no candle close above the downward trend line. It could be today, could be a pending buy signal in the near future. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Andre, sup, Jesse? What's up, Andre? Welcome back. Okay, we got some more requests. All right, we're gonna do our best to get through all of the comments and chart all the requests. We're right at 32 minutes. We're almost done with the crypto assets here. So that's DOT, Litecoin broke out, right? This looks like a higher low. Candle close back above, back test, and then price jumps off with a buy signal. And now here we are trending upwards. The probabilities on Litecoin is increasing that we come up and hit possibly target 2. We'll see. XRP covered all these last night. There's 10 assets. All of these crypto assets here on the right-hand side, I covered on last night's video for 20 minutes. You may have to squint. It was a little chart for 9 of the 19 minutes, but the point still gets across. You can still hear the vocals. I could still see the smaller chart too. And then the last 10 minutes, I blow it up to the bigger chart. So I think it's still worth seeing it. I go through a lot more on Ethereum, which I started off. And so you definitely want to check out the Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, all that stuff. So XRP talked about this pump and dump on one candle, 2 targets, up to 93 cents, bullish divergence, higher low, candle close, 1, 2, 3 candle close outside of the trend line. Now we have a pending buy signal on XRP. And then the last one, APE. So APE was more interesting because it had like this longer term downward trend line. So I'll leave it for the 20-minute video to talk about it more. I did some measurements, all that stuff, but we had a candle close above the trending dots, a candle close above the longer term downward trend line. We're seeing a green dot here. We could see a pending buy signal in the near future, most likely. And so that's APE, right? So could be a larger bounce possibly. It's too early to say, but if it were to get a larger bounce, you can see those lines kind of eyeballed it there. But first, maybe you'd see some like shorter term targets here, right? And then if it gets through that and then flips the resistance into support, then maybe you would see some of those longer term targets. So definitely check out that video. I spent 20 minutes on it last night. I wasn't tired, but I didn't have any water, so my mouth was pretty dry. And I even made a comment on it. Uh, it was pretty. I was pretty parched. I was pretty dry in the water. I needed some water. Still waiting for a weekly breakout NAVEX in due time. It's good to be patient, John. Good to be patient. Okay, let's get into the comments. Before we do that, before we get into the comments, before we start doing the chart work for everybody, I want to read something here. Oh, of course, please smash the like button. But even besides that, besides the smashing the like button, hit that subscribe. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Okay, now we're having fun. Subscribe. All right, you see it up here in the upper right hand corner too. Okay, expect bounces along the way, as the ticker symbol says. Ticker scroller. If you buy that dip, then you better sell that rip. Jo. I'm not the first person that came up with that, but I'm just covering it. Quote: I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Bruce Lee, right? So, what does that mean for trading, right? What does that mean for trading? Instead of me having like 10 different strategies or 10,000 different strategies or 10 different indicators or 10,000 different indicators or the next shiny object, right? My strategy overall is pretty simple, right? Pretty much over like if you put in the chart work, like for example, on recorded coaching, I think you would learn the strategy and dial in the strategy fairly simple, whether it's exactly the way it is or your own variation of it. I think you could do that in 1 to 3 months, depending on how many hours you put in. Definitely getting through 20 of like 60 plus videos. I think you could dial it in. And then the last 40 videos is like, there's still good pieces of information that you like, little nuggets that you find here and there that you're like, oh, that makes sense. But for sure, the first 20 videos, I think you could dial in the strategy. I'm not going away from the strategy. I'm going down that rabbit hole more and more. And these indicators are continuing to build off of that strategy. And so I didn't build a strategy off of an indicator, off of these indicators. I built the indicators off of the strategy to help out visually. So continuing down that road, staring at the charts over and over and over again, practicing that same strategy over and over and over again, to where that these targets, I've practiced hitting these targets so many times over and over and over again. I can just eyeball them out now. I still like to draw them, and I draw them out every single day on each asset that I'm looking at. But I've drawn it out so many times, I don't even really need to draw them out. I can eyeball it. I don't even really need to draw the trend lines. I can eyeball it. Of course, I'm going to, because I like the precision, but I can eyeball it now. So that's what I mean, practicing that kick 10,000 times, that one kick over and over again, instead of going through, maybe you're brand new and you're going through that phase. Like when I first started, before I developed my own strategy, I kind of went through a phase where I was back testing experts, right? And very quickly, I was able to find out, no, that's not going to work. There's no way that's profitable, or not as profitable as I'd want to be. So over and over again, I practiced, I back tested. I wasn't satisfied. So that's when I went down the road of developing my own style, my own strategy, and going from there. So, and then these indicators were built off of that to help the snipers visually, because I was getting the same questions over and over again. And so that's why it was built out over the last year and a half, is because of that. So, okay, with that, let's take a quick glance at Bitcoin. So, whoa, this is all from the video last night. Come back up, come back up, come back up, put in that lower high, right? So, at the buy signal, it closed right on the trend line, but it didn't close It may have closed right on it, but the candle close could break back down and close here and then still find support and come back up and hit these targets. So we'll see on Bitcoin. But again, covered it last night in a 20-minute video, bullish divergence. This could be the higher low. Buy signal could be breaking out, could be doing a back test and then continue to trend up and possibly hit a third target there before possibly rolling over and then hitting these targets. Remember, I talked about this back here on the live streams that price breaks down, finds support, could take weeks, if not a couple months, build out that lower high before coming back down. Check out previous videos if you want to go through that. That's Bitcoin. All right, let's get to the comments. Let's start going through all of this. Let's go back up to the very beginning. John, can you chart Ford? And also BDRY, Baltic Dry Index. Okay. Okay, John. Let's see. Okay, so I got Ford right here. Get back on the cursor. Oh, oops. Let's get back on the cursor. And let's start with the weekly chart. Let's get an overall idea, right? So, John, let's see. Are you looking for like a buy the dip scenario? Are you shorting it? What are you doing, John, for Ford? Just curious. So kind of going back, you had Ford, back in January 2022, peaking at $25, currently at $12. So, simple math is about 50% off, right? 51%. Came all the way down to almost 59% off. It's still hovering around that 200-week moving average, which many investors will say that is a bear market. They won't touch it. They won't take a long position. That's not part of my strategy, but I'm just letting you know, like, kind of the mindset of others. And John, nothing yet. Looking to buy at some point. Okay, so it's a wait and see type of scenario for you. That's a good strategy. Be patient because it is currently bearish on the weekly chart. John gives context so I can talk about it, and it's still trending down, but it's basically just been after coming all the way down here. Let's see. So you got March 2020 lows here, I believe. So that keep in mind, John. Not saying Ford will, but many stocks, larger stocks, have come back down, including Amazon, came back down to retest the March 2020 low. It could be finding key support here because it's basically been going sideways. But overall, it's still currently bearish on the weekly chart. So you're still, me personally, it's not a buy for me on the based off the weekly chart. On the daily chart, let's see. Still, as you can see below so you have this move up and this retracement down. This could be a higher low here, right? And then there's, kind of a move back up. And then this could be a lower high. So when it's not real trending, like on a weekly chart or anything, then you kind of see a lot of choppiness and a lot of like consolidation, right? So it could continue to consolidate and not really do too much. It could continue to go through so you had this move, then you have this move, then you have this move, and then this move, right? And it continues to consolidate and coil. So for me, as I like to trade with momentum. Well, when it's starting to consolidate and coil, and you kind of see this 200-week moving average, just going dead sideways, it's not really something that I'm really interested in. So you don't see me talk about it as much. So that's what I kind of see, where it could kind of go through this consolidation and coiling phase, right? and continue to do that. It's kind of like what I'm seeing there now, right? And I've seen this pattern before. Even look on silver, there was something like that, right? And then at that point, once this gets consolidated, then you could see price drop down to the downside or possibly break out. So it's too early to say, but it just seems like it's going to go through this coiling consolidation phase and basically just continue to go sideways as it has been. So that's what I kind of see. So it's not too interesting for me, but that's what I kind of see there. So it's up to you. Obviously, it's your own. Maybe you're really into Ford, and that's why you're watching it, or you think it's a good value, but it could always go lower, right? So it's still bearish on the weekly chart overall. That's Ford. And then your other one, let's see, new comments. Take a quick look. Okay, we'll come back. Let's keep going. BDRY, we'll come back to that. Doc would be great if you could take a look at the TLT, the 10-year yield. I put it on here, the 10-year yield. It's not TLT, but this is the US yield 20-year, right? So very similar to the 10-year that I've been looking at. And let's just do the TLT then. I'm pretty sure I have TLT on here, but let's just do the TLT. This is a weekly chart. Ultra bearish on the weekly chart. So not sure what you're looking at there on TLT. 20 plus year treasury bond ETF, right? So are you looking for a buy? It's possible it puts in bullish divergence. You do have a RSI low here at 18 back in October 2022. Could put in another low, and it could continue bullish divergence for much longer. So it's ultra bearish right now in the weekly chart. It could have put in slight bullish divergence here on the daily chart, but it's still well below the trailing dots. There's no buy the dip scenario for me as of today because I'm looking for higher probability reversals. So until that happens, it wouldn't be a buy for me. It's not interesting for me just because it comes down, comes back up, comes down, comes back up, right? And then wherever it is at that point, once there's a reversal, coming in breaking out of the downward trend line, the weekly chart starts to flip bullish. It would take some time to get the ship turned around, like on the weekly chart. It may come down like this, and it may just take time to go through all of this before it finally comes out, right? So you can kind of see here, if you draw this out, how long it might take, right? It might take 6 months. It's possible. Doesn't mean there couldn't be some bounces along the way, but if you're looking at it from a longer term standpoint, you can kind of see come back up just like this and then come back down like that. Maybe even put in some longer term bullish divergence before coming out. So that's TLT. Let's go back up to the next one for John, BDRY. Let's look at BDRY. We're 48 minutes in, so we're going to try to go a little bit faster. Make sure to get everyone in. I got to save a little bit of energy today. I can't spend an hour and 40 minutes just due to we have a private live stream today, the Friday Jam session in the Discord. Hope to see at least 5 of you there. A lot of people will be on the recorded or the replay crew for that because, different time zones, working, running their businesses, whatever the case may be. But hope to at least see 5 of you on the private live stream today. That's at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's for all Discord members. We're just going to kind of hang out, chill, talk charts, ask me questions, chat, get caught up, stuff like that. So Breakwave, still currently bearish, but there are signs of relative strength. There are signs, right? He had a weekly close back above the trending dots. Another one, potentially another one, but it is still bearish overall. So you do have this longer term bullish divergence, right? So um, hasn't retested the 200-week moving average since dropping below on Breakwave dry bulk shipping ETF, right? Uh, hasn't retested it. It's currently at $13 on the EMA. So it's possible you get a bounce in the near future. You do have bullish divergence, like I'm pointing out. This could be a sneaky higher low. And so let's drop down the daily chart. Just based off let me get some water here. A little bit. I got to conserve some water. Just based off of the eyeball test, it could be like something like this. And that's kind of it. But you would see some sort of like bounce, right? Retracement, and then see if it puts in another higher low, flips it, and then comes back up and retests it like that, right? So would still be kind of watching it, if it was going to play out something like that, right? Maybe it would be more something like comes back up into here, consolidates, and then comes up and hits those targets. So that's kind of, I think it might take some time to play out, John. But that's kind of the way I see it. And this could be future bullish divergence, meaning lower prices. So you don't want to guess. Now, if you look at the daily chart, right? Again, it could kind of just go sideways here. Could even come back up in like that and then put in that another higher low before bouncing out for a bigger move. And then you see, eventually you would think that it'd come back and retest the 200-week moving average at some point. So, but when, we don't know. Could take some time to get the ship turned around on the weekly chart, but there are signs of life on the weekly chart. So just had an RSI sell signal here. Looks like on this peak here, there was a lower high. So could kind of go through like this consolidation period, right? And just kind of watching it like that. So may take some time to play out, consolidate. Maybe it pops out of it, comes back down, and goes out. So that's what I'd be watching there. But there is a RSI sell signal on the daily chart as of right now, and it's possible that it could get a retracement back down before making the next move up there. Good morning. Early birds get the worm. Definitely. Okay. All three on the list. Got it. Good morning. Good morning. We're just going to go through these comments a little bit faster. Will we get a pullback in some alts? For example, Sol, one important. Well, maybe, but we just covered it. I spent about 20 minutes on it. Manual, not sure if you saw the video from last night, but on the daily chart, it was looking, let's go to the daily, make sure we're on the daily chart. There's a buy signal followed by, target one was hit. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking at like a shorter time frame, a lower time frame, yeah, it could get rejected, come back down to the trending dots and move back up and still be bullish on the daily chart. But it's bullish on the daily chart as of right now. And so, maybe it's done after one target, but seems like other targets will be hit, similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Or Ethereum's only hit one target so far. So that's Sol. We'll keep going. We covered that. Let's see. Got that one. Took care of that. Yes, I'm a member. 1+ year. Awesome. I left the first comment last night. How come it's not showing up? Not sure, John. Might have to call support. Good to be with you. Nav, good morning. Can you please check chart ETH? Yep. I charted ETH, Nav. And also, check out that video that I talked about. I did 20 minutes. I spent a lot more time on ETH there. Can you look at Near and Atom? We'll see real quick. Near and Atom. Yep. Pretty sure I covered it a little bit on the 20-minute video last night. Maybe not. I can't remember. Or on the live stream yesterday. But it looks like it could be lagging time-wise, Dicer Girl, a.k.a. Reiki. So you did have that bullish divergence, very similar. Looks like a potential slightly higher low, right? And it could be breaking on this downward trend line. Could see a buy signal in the near future. And then we'll see if price comes up and hits some of the targets. So that's what I'm kind of looking at for near as well. Very, very similar. So we don't need to spend a ton of time on it. Adam, there was I covered this in the previous, what was it? I can't remember now. Either live, I think it was previous live streams. I covered Adam a lot because it would do the requests. Someone requested it. So you can always go back, but we've got this trend line here, and then you've got it from here as well, right? So from here, you had the candle close above, followed by a buy signal, come back up. This looks like it hit target 1. So you got this bullish divergence. This could be that higher low, and then breakout here. You could see like target 1 get retested, target 2, target 3, target 4, and so on, right? So that's Adam. Let's keep going. John, you guys got a lot of requests today. All right, let's keep going. We'll try to go a little bit faster. We've covered these recently. So you can always go back, take a look at it. Still bearish on the daily chart. Still bearish on the weekly chart. Nothing to really report on in-phase energy, John. It's still bearish on the weekly. And it's still currently bearish on the daily chart. There are signs of life on the daily chart for relative strength, but it's still bearish. So we're going to keep moving on. PayPal. Let's look at PayPal. PayPal looks like some bullish divergence possibly on PayPal. Still have this gap at $72 from the last one. From this gap here, it got filled. This gap still has not been filled yet. Still not a buy for me on PayPal yet. Could be, maybe in the next week or two, possibly, right? Weekly chart still bearish, still putting in long-term bullish divergence. It is insane. It's been putting in bullish divergence since February 2022, right? February 2022. Still putting in bullish divergence. So at some point, we don't know when, but at some point, it's going to put in that bullish divergence. And I think it's going to come back up and retest a 200-week moving average. It hasn't retested a 200-week moving average since breaking down from it back in January 2022. So it's still a wait and see. We're still watching. But on the daily chart, may need some time to continue to play out. Could be finding support on our side. It could be putting in some slight bullish divergence, but as of right now, it is still bearish. Keep going. Andre, what's up, Andre? Hey Jesse, you rock. Awesome. Thanks. I think you're in the Discord, maybe Twitter. Let me know what your other names are. But thanks for being here. Thanks for being on the live crew. Thanks for all the replay crew people. Let's keep going. Don't forget, are we smashing the like? Are we subscribing? Are we liking? Are we subscribing? Let's keep it going. Let's go through the comments. Andre looks like bullish Q4 ahead. I've seen, you're probably seeing the same remarks from other people. I saw a macro guy talk about a bullish Q4, so you're probably seeing the same comments. I don't know what you're looking at. Depends on what asset, who knows if we're seeing it. I'm not seeing a magnificent 7. I'm seeing like shorter term bounces. Maybe you're talking about crypto. I don't know if you're talking about crypto. So that's kind of a general broad comment. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, but um, maybe for crypto, maybe it's like a couple weeks or a month, but I wouldn't say the full quarter 4, because you've got Q4 is October, November, December, right? It's still not even October quite yet. Well, it will be tomorrow, right? I think it's tomorrow. Uh, very soon. Put it that way. So I'm not sure what asset you're talking about. John, could that be head and shoulders form on Tesla, bear flag? Possibly, John. Covered it briefly. You know, like I said, I'm not a huge uh, patterns guy, but as an example, like, you know, it could be like a head and shoulders, and then you see price come back down. So it would kind of line up with that. But you know, as for like an idea, and it could come back up and, you know, kind of like possibly fill that gap, like I mentioned. Why isn't not drawing it? Let's see. Let me get off of that again. So you get the point, right? So you could kind of come up and fill that gap, put in that higher low breakdown. You could say that that could be a head and shoulders pattern, right? You know, and then you kind of take the distance from, you know, the head to the neckline, and then draw it out, and it lines up with this target and this target down here. So also you could look at it as like a bear flag, right? This could be a bear flag as well, and you kind of draw it out where it also hits that. So yeah, I can see where it kind of lines up from there. Still waiting for weekly breakout on NVAX. Laugh out loud. Okay, that's good. That's good. Patience is good. In due time. Yep. That's what the snipers are all about. You know, snipering that target after you've stalked it and waited patiently for that sniper entry, and then pulling that trigger on that move. Nothing yet. Looking to buy some point. Okay. KKK. Path is facing an investor fraud lawsuit. Might be done. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't trade based off of that. G Rod. It's good for awareness, but those narratives usually get pushed out after the fact. Uh, those articles get released after the fact of the chart. Chart comes first. You know, the moves happen. You know, insider trading does happen. You know, backdoor deals do get done first. And then when they're positioned already, when the big players are already positioned, then they push out those news articles and all that stuff. So it's good for awareness, but I can't build a trading strategy off of fundamentals, and I can't build a swing trading strategy off of, for me personally, off of news and stuff like that. So I only can control what I can control, and that's what I see on the charts. So, but good for awareness. Let's see, where was I? Path. Yep. Okay. Yep. Path. Path. Okay. John. You love Tesla. Okay. That's fundamentals. All right. Good to know. Guess Ultra Pro Short QQ waiting for breakout. Can you chart? I mean, it broke out. We charted it already, but there's pullbacks along the way, and, you know, still waiting for a bigger move, right? But it looks like it was closing above the trend line. Let's see, where do I have it? I mean, it already broke out of the downward trend line, so not sure. Not sure. Here's the downward. Here's the downward trend line of the SQQ, right? So price broke out, had a buy signal. So broke out, buy signal, back testing. Looked like it found support at the trending dots, possibly. So, already had the breakout. We were already talking about it. So there, but on the weekly chart, maybe you mean on the weekly chart, could be getting close on the weekly chart as well. Let's see there. Yeah, even on the weekly chart, had a candle close above it. So it's just kind of, there's no buy signal on the weekly chart, but there was already a buy signal on the daily chart. And but expect retracements along the way, right? And may have found support just now. So that's SQQQ. Me. Okay. A lot of macro experts keep saying to buy TLT. Okay. Well, doesn't mean they won't be on the wrong side for a long time, right? Eventually they'll be proven right, but at what cost? At what cost are macro experts on the wrong side? I've seen macro experts with 1 million followers. I've seen macro experts with 250,000 followers. They're on national TV, right? Be wrong for like 2 years. Be wrong for a year. Be wrong for 6 months. If they're in a position, they're holding positions underwater. There's, or they're negative, right? And then eventually maybe they'll be proven right years later or 6 months later. But as a swing trader, that a lot of that is noise, right? Like I'm swing trading, right? And even if you're like an investor and you want to be on the weekly chart, I still wouldn't, I'd still be swing trading the weekly chart as an investor, right? I would still be doing that. So those are all narratives, macro experts, blah, blah, blah. What makes them an expert, right? What makes them an expert? Are they behind closed doors, right? Are they do they know what policies are getting pushed out ahead of time, right? So what makes the macro experts? They could be on the wrong side for a long time. Oh, exactly. You just made my point. Thanks, John. They also have been saying that for 2 years. Exactly. I can't afford to be wrong for 2 years, John. I can't afford to be wrong for weeks. I've got to be profitable. That's my business. It's my business to be profitable. There's no way I could be on the wrong side for 2 years. So what are they even talking about? If they've been wrong for 2 years, what are we even, I don't even pay attention to them. If I see that someone's been wrong for a year and they're still calling for it, I don't even look at them anymore. So let's keep going. A no-brainer. Don't get me started on that, John. Don't get me fired up. Don't get me on a 30-minute rant. I got to save some energy for the 12:30 call. So a no-brainer for the next 6 to 12 months. Dollar cost averaging. What? I'm not sure what you're referring to, Doc. Is it from TLT? I don't know. I don't really dollar cost average. Not really my thing. I'd rather wait for a higher I'd rather wait for a higher probability reversal. Like if you're an investor, Doc, and you're looking for like longer term investment, I'd be doing it off of the weekly chart, and I'd be waiting for that higher probability reversal. And then when it's near bottom and it looks like it's flipping around, otherwise I'd rather put my money to work somewhere else, right? So I'd rather put my money to work and wait for that higher probability reversal. And when it does, boom, hit it. When it's in a longer term bullish versus trying to guess the bottom and dollar cost averaging, I would never personally dollar cost in a downtrend. I've talked about this at length in the Discord. I've talked about it on the X app over and over again. There's no way I would dollar cost average in a bear market. I would wait until there's, the ship gets turned around. I would wait until there's a higher probability reversal, at least on the weekly chart. And then if you're dollar cost averaging, what that would mean to me is that I'd be buying the dips, right? I'd be dollar cost averaging and buying those dips. That's what I would be doing. I'd be adding to the position at that point if I was going to be doing that. So, but I wouldn't be doing it while it's still bearish. That's just my own personal standpoint on it. Let's see. Let's keep going. Some macro guys are 100% long TLT and have been complaining for months on end. Yeah. Well, great. Great. You know, they don't like money, I guess. I mean, I don't love money. It doesn't define me as a person, but I like to use it as a tool, right? I like to use it as a tool. I don't want to be on the wrong side for that long. That would drive me crazy. Go back to our live stream on Monday with Dr. Nick. The bandwidth it takes to like be underwater on a position for 6 months. I don't even want to do that for weeks, let alone 6 months. So if I'm wrong for 6 months, that would that would be weighing on me mentally. Also, keep in mind, maybe they don't even have a large position and they're just like an influencer or a talking head on a live show and they get paid for that. Who knows what they don't even maybe they don't even have money invested, right? We don't even know if they have money invested into it. So I can't be on the wrong side for 6 months. I have money invested. I have money swing trading. I have to make money. I don't have the luxury to be wrong for 6 months to a year. No way. No way. Doc, you got it. You got it. Just for soul charts, as of now, I'm looking only for retracement targets in the long trade. However, looking for. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. I'm just taking it swing trade by swing trade. The daily chart had the breakout, had a buy signal, Emmanuel. So that's kind of leave it there. I did go into a little bit deeper on the 20-minute video, so you could always take a look there. I wish all of us bought some calls on the SP5 on Wednesday. When I mentioned about. Yeah, I mean, but the longer term trend could be bearish. So I'm not concerned about buying calls because it may not be as a big of opportunity as short the bounce. So I'm more interested in shorting the bounce right now because it's looking like it could be longer term uh, bearishness. So I'm not really concerned about buying these quick bounces or these sell the rip type of scenarios, John. But I'm sure it was a good trade, but I'm just looking for like a longer term swing trade myself. Uh, Aaron, Chewy. Okay, we'll take a look at Chewy. We're 12 minutes over, so let's see what else we got. Chewy. Oh, looks like we got two or three. Wes Diddy. Oh, my man, Wes Diddy. One of my closest friends here and present, J.O. That's what my closest friends call me, J.O. What's up, Wes Diddy? My man. Gonna see you tonight, my man. Me and my wife are coming strong. We're gonna play pickleball for the first time. But don't let that fool you. I've played ping pong before. I'm decent at ping pong. I'm a competitor in tennis, competitive, but I don't have a serve. I don't have any skills. I don't have anything like that. You would smoke me in tennis, I'm sure. I think you played a lot of tennis. Let me know if you played that tennis. I think you played tennis, right? I'm pretty sure. We golfed together, but did you play high school tennis? I can't remember. So you would smoke me in tennis, I'm sure. Ping pong, I think I'd give you a run for your money. And we're going to find out in pickleball. As a rookie, first time pickleball player, I'm coming. I'm bringing the knee brace. I'm coming. I'm with the paddles. I'm coming with that competitive fire. I'm taking you down tonight, West Diddy. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. All right, let's get back to it. Chewy. Let's do Chewy. We got time for a couple more. I got a little bit more energy for Chewy. Uh, I'm not sure if we'll get to wheat. Arnold, good morning. Good morning, Arnold. Ready for the weekend? Oh yeah. I was just talking to Wes Diddy on the comments. I'm ready for the weekend. We're gonna go get some dinner, and then we're gonna take them down in pickleball tonight. First time playing. I'm excited. I'm a little competitive, so we're gonna get the competitive juices flowing. Doesn't matter if it's go-kart racing or what. I took the wife on a date last weekend. No. Yeah, last weekend. Took her on, or I think it was last weekend. Took her on a date. We went go-kart racing. I passed everybody in the field at least once. I passed like 3 or 4 people in the go-kart racing field at least twice. So I was it says no bumping into the tires. I nudged them gently, and luckily no one went into the tires. And I got the competitive juices. I had that fire. I had that look in my eye. I was taking people out. Very, very competitive when we flipped the switch. So, all right, John, have to log off. Tax meeting. Thanks for all your work. Hopefully you're profitable, John, and that's why you're doing the tax meeting. All right, Chewy, let's get back to it. All right, Chewy. All right, Chewy. Aaron, you still here? Aaron, let me know you're still here. Chewy Inc. Oh, wow. Chewy Inc. Are you looking at this as a potential buy the dip scenario, Aaron? Okay, yeah. Awesome. Well, yes, as you're still here, but I'm assuming you're looking at it as a potential value and buy the dip scenario, right? So it's ultra bearish on the weekly chart, as you can see, right? So I mean, it's just ultra bearish right now. It is, let's see. And this is another stock that went below the March 2020 low, right? So we talked about that several stocks have gone below that March 2020 low, and that pay attention because many other stocks could go below that March 2020 low. Chewy is one of them. We don't know where the bottom is. Right now, it's just looking ultra bearish. And on the weekly chart, it's below the 200-week moving average by a lot. At some point, it could come back up and retest it. But it looks like if you kind of followed out where the 200-week moving average was at one point before it became a 200-week moving average, you kind of see that hasn't retested it in almost 2 years, right? If you kind of eyeball it out, right? Or maybe, yeah, about 2 years. So I wouldn't be guessing here. And anything right now on the weekly chart is saying you're guessing. I would be waiting for like a higher probability reversal. For me personally, obviously do what you think is right. But if you kind of eyeball it out, it would probably take months for the ship to get turned around and get like a bigger type of bounce, right? A bigger type of swing trade. So it would take some time. Right now, it's just bearish. So let's drop down the daily chart for you. Ultra bearish on the daily chart. I'm, for me, I wouldn't be touching this with a 10-foot pole, right? I wouldn't be touching it as bearish. Maybe, it flips around at some point and, kind of flips around. Let's see if I can get the brush working. What is happening with my brush? A little bit of, it's battling me right now on the brush. Let's see. All right, we'll leave it. But, again, it's ultra bearish on the daily. It's ultra bearish on the weekly. Anything right now would be a guess. And that's not my plan. So could this be the bottom? Sure. This could be the bottom. We don't know though. It might not be, and that would be guessing. So for me, it's not a buy right now. It could be in the future. Let's see what else. Wheat. I think it was wheat. Okay, wheat futures, or do you have like? Are you looking at ETF, or what are you looking at? Let's see. Futures, wheat. Wow, wheat's just dropping off. So that's the daily chart. You know, maybe it's a wait and see on wheat, but that's one of those holding short, right? Holding the short position. So that's the daily chart. That's the weekly chart. I don't know why it's having a hard time for me to maneuver around it, but that's the weekly chart as well. It's just bearish right now. It's just dropping out. So I would be, for me, I'm waiting for that higher probability reversal. It may take weeks, if not months, for it to get flipped around. It's well below the 200-week moving average. At some point, you can come back and retest it, but it's bearish, bearish, bearish. Let's see what else. What else? Could you chart ADA BTC? Yeah, I mean, I have it on here, I believe. So that's the ADA BTC pair. Let me see if I can spot it really quick. If not, I'll just type it in. Okay, let's just type it in. Save some time. We're at 20 minutes, hour 20 minutes already. So crypto, ADA, BTC. So still bearish on the weekly chart, right? There we go. Now it's maneuvering. Okay. Still bearish. Let's see. Could be finding bottom, but it's too early to say right now. Elec Dank. Am I saying that correctly? Elec Dank. I recognize the name. I've seen you around. You've been around for a while. So welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Let's kind of zoom in here. Let's get a better look. We've got RSI. Yeah, we do have bullish divergence here, right? Bullish divergence. So there are signs of it flipping around, maybe signs of a potential like bigger bounce for Cardano versus the BTC pair. So that's a weekly chart, but it's still really bearish, right? It's still RSI is still at 33 on the weekly chart. So it could remain that way. It's still below the trending dots. So there are signs that there's bullish divergence, but it could remain diverged, right? So let's look at the daily chart. The daily chart looks like it's kind of breaking out to the upside, very similar to Cardano chart itself. So maybe it's a smaller like bounce, a smaller retracement. You can kind of eyeball it out here. Like, maybe you've got like some targets like that, right? You can kind of eyeball it out and you can kind of see like, break out, get that buy signal, and then come back down, right? So that's what I would kind of think on ADA and BTC. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe. I appreciate you. Keep the replay crew going with more comments. Let me know. And don't forget, subscribe, share with family and friends. Subscribe, share with family and friends. Subscribe. Now I'm just being obnoxious, right? I got to get into obnoxious mode for pickleball tonight, and I got to take down Wes Diddy and his friends and family over there. I'm going to take them down, and got to even put on the knee brace for that one. So thanks, everyone. Appreciate your support. Hope you have a good weekend. Get off the charts this weekend. Get outside. Have some fun. Spend some time with your friends and family. DJR78, thank you. Thanks for being on here. I appreciate you. And I'll see you on the next one.